What's going on, guys? It's Ricky with TechBet Solutions. So thank you guys again for joining us for another recap on today's trading. So another successful day when it came to trading. So today is Wednesday. Was able to lock in $442 of profit just like yesterday. So today was like 12 cents more than yesterday's trading, but completely different, stocks that we were trading today. Gonna do a little bit of a recap on what it is that I traded, what I was looking for, and kind of a breakdown on the group and how I played out today. So TechBet Solutions is pretty much the group that I started in effort to help, just entrepreneurs across the world learn the basics and fundamentals of trading penny stocks. So if you've always, wanted to get started when it comes to, just learning a little bit more about investing or, actually actively trading in the stock market, feel free to join. The link is going to be provided for you down in the description. It's a free group you can join, and the whole point that I created the group is, to grow the span of members in effort to minimize loss and promote growth and just share best practices. So with that, we'll see an overall reduction in mistakes, which can help new members be successful when it comes to truly understanding what it takes to be a successful trader. All right, guys, so going back into it. So the morning started off pretty slow for myself. I kind of just stepped away from the screen for a couple hours. I was actually looking at how the members were kind of reacting without my actual guidance throughout the whole morning. Everyone was pretty much sticking to two specific stocks, and that was DRYS and then PULM. A lot of traders were able to lock in a good amount of profit. I do want to give a couple shout outs to a couple of people that were able to do so. Alright, so I want to give a shout out to Darren being able to lock in his profit from 1542 to 1570. He is one of our newer members within the group, so he was able to lock in a good amount of profit. Angelo all together today was able to lock in $900 worth of profit. Juan making $50 off his trade. So going into it, these traders set up a game plan where they were going to buy, where they were going to sell, and setting a stop loss and having a whole plan when it comes to trading. It is ideal. So I'm going to do a little analysis on ASTAC or ASTC. So this was the most successful stock that I traded today, and it was all of a sudden. So I was actually going to meet up with one of our traders for a meeting. His name is Justin Lawrence, and I got the alert a couple minutes before we actually met up. I bought in at $1.39, and let me tell you guys why. Alright, so I'm going to change the frequency here to make it a little bit easier to read for myself. As you can see, ASTC does see very low volume. So with that, it doesn't see much movement, right? What you can see is that overall within this 1 month analysis, as you can see 1 month, this is through the Fidelity brokerage company that I use, it tends to bounce pretty well above 135. And it tends to hold, it tends to stay in between the 135 to 155, as that is a known, safety net and resistance level within this 1 month. So understanding that, being able to catch it anywhere from the 135 to 140 is ideal, and cutting losses anything below 135 would be, ideal as well to minimize loss altogether. I know I missed out on ASTC on the first initial bounce when it actually touched 140. So this second time that it went sub 140, I got filled at 139.5. I set my alerts, and I didn't even get done, setting all my alerts by the time it said that it went above 160. I was so confused because I didn't know, what was going on if, my stop loss kicked in, since I set the stop loss at 134.99. But now, luckily, my alerts just kicked in. It told me that it went above 150 and 160. And with that, I was actually setting an alert if it goes above 165. I tried to sell at 160, didn't get filled, and it started dropping down. And then I tried to sell at 155 and wasn't able to get filled. So I ended up selling at 150 altogether, being able to lock in 11 cents worth of profit, especially with a $1 and when I bought a $1.39 stock, there's nearly 10%. So I made $232, I believe, on this trade alone, and it was within like a 5-minute period. And I should have sold a little bit quicker, been a little bit more active, but I was getting ready to go to my meeting with Justin, so wasn't able to cancel my stop loss order and send in my order or $1.60 quick enough. So at least I locked in the $232. Overall, I'm going to continue to trade ASTC the way I do, as in anything below 140, tends to be a good bounce. Cut losses anything below 135, as it has gone below 135 altogether. So by understanding that, I definitely don't want to ride it all the way down here from, the 139 to pretty much 129, as that will be, me losing 10%. So that's pretty much my analysis. I would set your alerts once it goes below, 145 and 140 to give you a better understanding on, better buy points within this area, and understanding that, I could sell within 150 to 155 and hit nearly my 10% profit. Just, with this overall understanding on, where ASTC usually trades. CIE did not have a good day. It's been steadily declining. There has been little bounces, but it tends to bounce on this 3-month analysis, or 6 months, I think, pretty well around the 90 to 80 cent mark. There's actually a safety. I want to give a shout out to one of the members within our group that actually shouted out, saying that he's going to try to be buying in at 83 cents. And the reason he said 83 cents, I'm guessing, is because he went 6 months back and he was able to determine, this safe. So I'm going to do the same thing, kind of see if it catches above 90 cents, and if we see that upward momentum, this could be potentially one to trade tomorrow. If it continues to decline, then, we'll set our alerts and try to catch it at the bounce at 83 cents, and having a plan and, cutting losses anything below 83 to minimize loss, and being realistic with our sell points. And, if we buy in at 83, selling at 90 isn't a bad idea. That being close to 10%, or selling at $1 resistance wouldn't be a bad idea either, if you want to be a little bit riskier. And that's my analysis when it comes to CIE. DRYS, I actually told the team that most likely it's going to be closing within that $4 range. The reason why is because when you see these big pumps, the following days you see a big dump. Wasn't the dump that I was expecting. It actually held pretty well, about 452. So we'll probably, just based on it not holding very well, see it slowly start bleeding back down. So for all those that weren't able to, sell, just understand these safety nets and then the resistance levels, and try to trade according to that and set up a whole game plan before getting on in. RGSC was one I traded twice today. I'm going to do a little breakdown on why I saw so much potential. So this is a 5-day analysis. I actually traded this one a couple days ago, and it was actually at the balance at 293. So I knew that 293 around there was a good price point to buy, and it tends to trade pretty well above the $3 mark. I actually did not ride it all the way up here, although it did have a really good day. So initially, when going into RGLC, what I was looking at was the safety nets and setting up a whole game plan. So I knew the safeties were at 293, and the resistance was around the 305 area. And the reason I knew that is I'm going to get a little bit closer to the 2-day analysis. This is just to determine, where the safety was. So a couple days ago, the safety was at the 293. So that just proves that there was a safety net there, and understanding that there was a slight resistance right here. The reason why I know that is because this was an old safety around 350 and is now a new resistance level. But getting a little bit closer, yeah, I'm gonna have to do a little bit analysis. Alright, so you can see that it had somewhat of a safety here around that 293 area, bounce, hit highs of pretty much the resistance that we were talking about, 340, 350, came back down, caught right above $3, and then started bouncing, and then today just plummeted. I had my alerts. I let the team know exactly when RGSC went sub $3. I initially bought in at 292 and was able to ride it up. Actually, it went all the way up to, initially when I bought in, went up to, this was actually when I bought in, because I bought it at 292 and I was able to ride it up all the way to 307. I was up a little bit over $100, or a little bit over $175, and then it came back down. I had a stop loss at 299, so I was able to lock in at least my, I believe, $106 worth of profit. And then it came back down. I bought in again at 291. Right at closing, and with after hours it actually hit highs of 313, but I was able to sell at 303. As you can see, it actually went a little bit below the price point on when I initially bought. It went down to like nearly 290, and then it picked up, hit highs of 313. I wasn't able to sell there. I actually sold at 303, and then it ended up closing at 305 after hours. So I locked in another, I believe, $124 on that trade. Altogether $442 on my trade on RGSC. I definitely do see this to be another potential stock to trade within the next days to come, but just make sure you stay consistent and cut losses short. So trading this with these next couple of days, I'm going to set up these different safety nets and resistance levels. So anything below $3 is initially a good buy. You want to get closer to the safety net as you possibly can, right? So around 290 to 292 is a really good buy point. cut losses anything below 289. Just because that's an overall, safety. So if it falls below that, then there's no real telling on where it's going to go. So just cut losses, set a stop loss right there around the 289 area, and then just don't get too greedy. Be willing to sell around that $3 to $3.25, as that is a known resistance level, as you can tell here. It really depends on how the volume is doing the following days. Just if we see a huge spike in volume, just like we did, a couple days ago, then that can mean for another huge spike. But again, realistically, most likely that is not going to happen. So again, just lock in those 5 to 10% profit margins, and then trade smart. So thank you guys again so much for tuning in. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. My email is going to be provided for you down below. And if you guys are on the Facebook platform and want to join the GroupMe or the group chat platform, feel free to email me. That email is techbuds@mail.com. It is down below. I kind of just want you guys to ask for the welcome document, which is the document I'll provide you with all the links to our group chats, as well as the reason why you want to be a part of this group chat, and what your goals are, just to have a better understanding of how I can assist you in your process in being successful. So thank you guys again so much for tuning in. I hope you guys have a good rest of your day, and make sure you guys subscribe to stay tuned for the new video that I'm going to be uploading later today. Take care, guys.